This is Andy, and this is my channel where I share updates on how I grow each of my businesses. For some context here, I've been in business since February 1st of 2024, and I have three businesses. One is my design studio, which is MMG Design. We do web and SEO for B2B healthcare. This is our homepage. I also am the owner of the Columbus Marketing Organization, which is my in-person networking, events, job board, and community for marketers in Columbus, which is my top of funnel business that is meant to provide leads for everything else. And I also run a podcast, which is my glue and biz dev method for both of these. I've been documenting my journey since February 1st of 2024, as you can see from this less than high production value screenshot right here. Back then, when I was really just scraping around for leads. In my first full year of business, I did 200K in top line revenue, and that's not because I'm exceptionally smart or a great business owner. This year, the goal is in 2026, the goal is to make $250,000, so 250K. And this is my process where I show you everything that I do, build in public, and my goals to make it happen. In this video specifically, we're going to be talking about my podcast clipping strategy. So as you guys know, the podcast in and of itself is a big biz dev mechanism. I posted a few days ago how I do email outreach to get on top podcast guests that could be referral partners. I also made a presentation about this for an SEO summit a few months back as well. But in this video, I'm going to be sharing with you a clipping strategy that me and my assistant are working on in order to make this thing blow up. So a little bit of context here. At the end of this video, I'll play the full SOP that I've sent to my assistant that's going to execute on this. But I want to talk a little bit about the strategy. So what I see perform best with podcast clips is we do all of our editing and recording here in Riverside, and we have hundreds and hundreds of episodes. So for the purpose of getting more viral reach and more potential for sponsorships, getting on better guests, it's a nice and vicious flywheel there. My goal is to increase visibility on YouTube to grow that channel, and also Instagram to get more top of funnel traffic. In addition, it's a marketing podcast, so it fuels both of my businesses in the sense that marketers locally will see it as a high social proof value asset to come on, and potential leads for my Webflow design studio that's focused on healthcare marketers. So you can see how this ecosystem is kind of coming together. And the point of the strategy is to drive more top of funnel visibility for each of these three. So without further ado, let's actually go into the actual strategy in and of itself, which is what you're here for. This is our strategy so far, and I'll go through the SOP. So what we want to do is for each of these three projects with here in Riverside, I want to create 5 to 10 clips. We're going to start with 3, and my assistant has done a great job. We just started doing the editing today. But what I was ideating on is a really great format for, I have a dedicated folder here called Clipping Experiment. Which is a great name. But what she's done is she's created a folder for every single guest of the podcast, and she's exported the clips that she's edited to each of them. After we have a backlog, we can start to promote these clips, and she'll just start scheduling them out on both YouTube and Instagram, driving traffic again to the podcast from there. And I have conversion mechanisms as well. I told her to edit in the following format. What Riverside does is it does a great job of letting you get these clips started. So if you go into any Riverside project and you click Made for You, and then you go down to this right here, boom, Magic Clips. It already names them via a hook and it scores them. To be honest with you, I don't find these scores to be valuable or tangentially accurate. So that's why you have someone like a BA who has taste and knows English in order to be able to fine tune some of these. But she will go through and she'll pick the 3 highest converting ones that talk about marketing, healthcare, design, anything that's related to what our audience wants to hear about. Then what she will do is she will edit them. And what I've told her to edit them is by creating a hook that calls out the viewer as part of the edit in the assets. So let me explain. So if you watch this example from Andy Crestadina, you will see this clip right here.
It's possible to put it into AI mode, give it your persona, give it a web page, give it a goal, and watch it open a virtual browser and click around. And then you can ask it how confused it was, ask it to write a report.
That's one. Here is another example.
There's brand marketing and there's performance marketing. Brand marketing is partly just about reaching a larger audience and building general awareness so that people that, when they're in the moment of need, they might think of you, how to be top of mind. So
And here is another one.
Not in a bad way, but there's a good reason why you went to that page. Honor that person. Stay totally focused on them. The back button is the one common feature on every URL.
So as you can see, there's definitely some similarities with these clips here. Here's another one from Angela's episode. As it loads here.
And I would say AI is a tool. It's not a colleague or a friend. And it's masked in such a way that it feels like a colleague and a friend. And I sometimes.
But as you can see, I won't bore you by going through every one of these here. And again, this is only our first day of starting to edit these clips. But you can see the conventional formatting. We have a call out here in the top that calls out the ICP, the topic of the video, good captions that auto switch the camera, and a short length, anywhere between 10 and 60 seconds, so that they automatically fit on YouTube and Instagram. And that will just start scheduling multiple of these a day out. And I imagine we can get to hundreds and hundreds of these clips. My assistant did all of this in about an hour of work. And now that I've approved the formatting, we have green lighted this strategy. So if we go to my existing YouTube channel, what you'll be able to see here is the channel we'll be clipping them on, and I'll be posting these from multiple channels. So this channel right here, Andy the Marketer, is going to be a collaborator with these YouTube Shorts. And they'll go from this channel and they'll also go from my main channel. So if I view my channel right here, what you'll see is my own shorts have gotten a good amount of visibility from the podcast. Some of them get 300 to 400 views. Not great and nothing exceptional, but I imagine we can do much, much better than this if we actually have consistent volume. As you can only see, we've only been doing like 1 or 2 per week. Now imagine 100x that volume, and all of them point back here. One person that I did really love their strategy is all they do is they have the caption is just the hook of the video, similar to, as you can see right here, that calls out and then points back to the YouTube channel. And then you basically spray and pray once you have the formatting down. So I have a format for tracking all of these inputs, and I will definitely be sharing the results of these experiments. But overall, the podcasting strategy, I alluded to it a little bit earlier in the podcasting email outreach video, which I'll link in the card. But we want guests of the podcast to have the following visibility. ICP, they serve the same clients in a different way. So these are, and apply this to your own marketing brand, someone that serves the same clients as you in a different way. Maybe they offer a different service. Maybe they serve customers at a different value level. So maybe they're upmarket and they only serve enterprise, whereas you serve SMBs. And that's the strategy. Or they're in the same industry, but they offer a different service. The second one is process. So with this, we want to make the process really turnkey. Again, I'll go straight to the video at the end of this that has the full SOP of how we're going to edit these clips and systematize this and the review process behind it. You can watch that, stick around to the end for how I communicate how these tasks need to get done to Assistant. I ran a full workshop for a community called how solo marketers can onboard an assistant. I'll also link to that when I haven't published that yet, but I'll link to that soon, where you can go on onlinejobs.ph, hire an assistant and train them and pay them $6 to $10 per hour, and they will execute on all these visions for you. So I highly recommend all solo marketers take that action. And third part of this process for growing the podcast, emails and pre and post. In the presentation I gave in the SEO community, we talked about perfect emails to send after a podcast launch and afterwards. So ask every single guest for a testimonial, which is how you get this nice compelling wall of social proof that makes the emails that you send out to potential guests and makes those convert much better. And also the second thing you ask for is a referral. Is there anyone like you that would like to be interviewed for this podcast? And they're going to want to introduce you to someone great that's in their network. As you can see, if you stick with it, if you're crazy enough for 166 straight weeks, you will start to make some traction. And in review, the podcast last year was the source of 80% of our referrals and client base. So keeping it nice and short, stick around for the full SOP of how I delegate this task to my assistant. But this is my podcast clipping growth strategy to get more sponsors, agency leads and grow my community of marketers here in Columbus. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Again, my name is Andy, and I'm going to be posting transparently all of my lead generation and business growth activities while I build in public. And make sure you subscribe and stick around, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.
Free audio post-production by Alphonic.com.
Okay, Rhoda, hope you are doing well. This is going to be a podcast clipping walkthrough. So top level instructions. Every single day, I would like to start posting one clip to YouTube Shorts and to Instagram. Just those two platforms. But we need to start getting a backlog ready. So I want to have you start by going through our old podcasts and editing short clips and adding them all to one Drive folder. And creating subfolders for each guest. So these are the ones that I'd like you to start with. Angela and these projects that I'd like you to create clips from, reference these. Angela and Andy, Lillian and Andy, Christina Medvedeva, Matt Vojak, Untitled, this is Max, Andy, this one right here, creating 3 of that one, Tom Cafano, Danielle, which is this one right here, Brian Massey, which is this one right here, Ryan Hawk, this one, Nikhil H, which is this one right here, Casey, which is this one right here, Bridget Murphy, which is this one right here, Clay Ostrom, Allison Dittmer Clips, Casey Hill, Steven Schneider, Bill Balderaz, Julian Galuzzo, J2, this one right here with Allie, this one right here with Kyle Adams, this one right here, Lee Densmer, Michelle Bourbonier, Jeff Risner, Andy Crestadina, Jason Vanderveer, Meredith Dennis, and that'll be it for now. Also, last one would be Brandon Triola, this one right here. Focus on those for now. Start with the oldest and work your way back up to the most recent. So start with Brandon Triola. Or actually, no, start with Andy Crestadina, which is this one right here, and then work your way back up. Start with a list of those, and then proceed to the next steps. I'll hear shortly. Okay, an actual SOP for editing each clip. Say I'm starting with Andy's episode. I'm going to click into it like this. It might quit here. This has already bugged on me 3 times and stopped recording, so I'm going to hope that this doesn't quit or just freeze. So a lot of different clips you can use. This is the format that I'm going to give you an idea for. So going to this made for you, you're going to see a lot of different pre-generated clips. Use your best judgment to try and find ones that are related to our audience. Marketing, websites, social media content, branding, LinkedIn, anything that's on topic. And if you can have a clip where the guest is primarily the guest, but also both of us talk, that would be a perfect clip. Now I'm going to show you how you can go in and edit each clip. So a few things that I want to think about when I edit. I've clicked into this one that says honor the visitor's intent. A few things that I want to do right off the bat is I want to go to AI tools here in the top right. I want to make sure remove all pauses are turned on. So just for demonstration purposes, they're all turned on and it's up to the max. So up to the max, remove all pauses. Magic audio is applied. Just go ahead and click that. And smart layouts is applied as well. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to captions. I'm going to put brand and click on that. It's going to start playing. It's going to generate right there to start with. I want to make sure that these aren't covering the face of the visitor. So to start with, when it's right here, I want you to hit similar scenes. You're going to apply the changes, so the text needs to be a little bit bigger, make it say 88. Hit similar scenes. And it's hit similar scenes, and it'll only edit the ones like that. When it switches layout, if you go to one like this, again, change the font size, boom, on similar scenes. When it split screens, this should be in the middle. And again, make sure it is 88 across all of them, and remove the logo. The logo should not be on there for just these episodes. So the biggest part, listen, go ahead and watch the clip all the way through.
Not in a bad way, but there's a good reason why you went to that page. Honor that person.
A couple small things like this to be able to crop and make sure that the subjects are centered. But the biggest thing I want you to do is called the hook. So this one's called, you can use this for reference, honor the visitor's intent. For each one, you want to create some kind of a text line hook. You can use this for reference. What you're going to do at the very beginning of the video, hit text, hit title, and you're going to move this to the top, again, in a way that it's not in the speaker's face. So some are kind of like here. Name it something like this, honor your website. Honor your website visitors. Boom. Try and make it fit on 2 lines or less. And then also make sure that the text is lowercase and that it has a backdrop on it. So it should look something kind of like this. Yeah, background invert, kind of like that. So that's a good hook. The title should start in the beginning, and it should only last a few seconds. So like 3 seconds.
Not in a bad way, but there's a good reason why you went to that page. Honor that person. Stay totally focused on them. The back button is the one common feature on every URL in the world. So you have to make it good enough, strong enough, deep enough, compelling enough, specific enough, helpful enough that the mouse doesn't drift up and to the left.
Boom. So I would qualify that as good. As you can see, the text in every single layout doesn't overlap with any faces. It all has the biggest size. And there's a small hook right there.
In a bad way, but there's a good reason why you went.
The text that lasts 3 or 4 seconds. Next, you're going to hit export after you've watched it all the way through. You're going to export, and you're going to export it at 4K. You're going to hit export video, and you're going to save it to that folder. Again, make one folder for all the clips, and then you make a subfolder with the guest name. Make 3 of these per guest. Alright, so I will also include that video, that folder link that I have started. It's this one right here. It just says clipping, what the hell? It says clipping experiment, and I have the first one started with Andy Crestodina. So we need 2 more for his, and again, create new folders for each of the guest names. Last thing I want you to do in terms of formatting the actual post. Again, don't feel the need to add this to if you want to add this to the content calendar in order to organize it, feel free to do that. But what we need to do for captions on Instagram, take reference from this. Make the first line whatever that hook was that you put in the text. So for this one, for example, it was the Andy Crestodina example that we've been running with. It was honor your website visitors. So the quote, so the first line would be why you need to honor your website visitors. And then in quotes after that, put the guest name, Andy Crestodina. Then in the subcaption, we need to put the template that I'll write for you in this SOP. So it'll say something about the podcast and do it like that. This is for Instagram. For YouTube, it's relatively the exact same thing. So the preview text is that hook with the guest name, and then a canned template that you put below that. It's going to be about the company, about the podcast. Again, don't start uploading anything yet. Let's start getting a cadence over the next few days, and then I'll give you the thumbs up to start adding those to the content calendar if that helps, and then uploading 1 per day on each. Cheers, and talk to you soon.